Hello students. In this video lecture, we are going to learn about articles. Of course, this is higher classes onwards. So we have three articles. Those are a and the. A and an are treated as indefinite articles and the is referred as definite article. Why a or an are called as indefinite articles means because they come before the nouns when we refer the nouns in general. So these articles, they are placed before the nouns when we are referring the nouns in general. So by looking at the position of these articles only, like by looking at the articles itself, we come to know that this particular noun is referred in general. And when it comes to the case of definite article, so we place this definite article before specified things. That means when we are referring to the things in specific, then we just use this article the. Of course, a and an, these indefinite articles, are used before countable nouns. The is used before both countables and uncountables when they are referred in specific. So coming to the rules of their usage, let us start with indefinite articles, a or an. So when to use a, when to use an, it depends on the initial sound of that particular word. That means if a word starts with a consonant sound, if a noun starts with a consonant sound, and if it is singular countable and it starts with a consonant sound, then we use article a. And if it starts with an vowel sound, then we use an before that singular countable noun. So we have to, like, this is a very basic rule and everyone knows about this. So a is used before a singular countable noun which starts with a consonant sound. An is used before a singular countable noun which starts with an vowel sound. Let us see the rules of this usage. We use a or an for the first time you mention or refer to a noun in a context. If you take in a context, for the first time when you are mentioning a noun, then before that singular countable noun, we use a or an. Again, the uses of a or an, like whether we have to use a or we have to use an, it depends on the initial sound of that particular word. See this example. I bought a pair of shoes yesterday. I bought a pair of shoes yesterday. A pair of shoes, a new pair of shoes. So this is the first time that I'm referring to my shoes, a pair of shoes, and so I've used a before the noun. Can you believe the shoes were 50% off? And the same shoes I'm referring to, and I have added one more statement. Can you believe the shoes were 50% off? That means I'm referring these shoes for the second time in this sentence. So I have used the before that. So if you are referring to a noun, a singular a noun for the first time in a sentence, then we use a. Okay. If you are referring to the second time in the context, then we use the. So this is the first thing. Second thing is to name a member of a group. To name a member of a group. See these examples. I'm a teacher here. That means, I belong to the community of teachers and that group, like I'm a member of that community or that group. So when you are referring to a member of a group, usually we use a before that, usually in jobs, like nationalities. And before, when you are referring to nationalities also, we use article a or an, it depends. So he is an American. So when you are referring to the nationality of the person, before that we have used an. Religions. She's a Buddhist. When you are referring to religions, of course, we use a or an before the name of the, before the religion. So this is one thing we have to remember. So for the first time, if you are referring a noun in a context, we use a or an. And if you are referring to a member of a group, then we can use before that a or an. Now, when you also mean one, means single. Then we use a before that particular noun. I had an apple at lunch. An apple in the sense one apple at lunch. Expressions that quantify. Sometimes we use many expressions to, to show the quantity of something. So before those expressions also, we use indefinite article a little bit of, a lot of, a ton of, a pair of. So in that way, like the expressions which quantify the nouns. So in those expressions also we use a or an. And now when it comes to the uses of definite article, like we use the with something already mentioned. So if we mention something before and we are referring to the same thing for the second time, then we use the before that. And also when there is just one of something. So if there is one of something, when it is specified, like we use the before that. I took a walk in the forest. There is only one forest where you live. So there is only one forest, one of something. And before that, we have used the. Now let us see, when you define a specific person, object, or place. So when you are referring to a specific person, object, or place, then we use the definite article the. I love the book my dad gave me for my birthday. So which book you are referring to, which your dad gave you for your birthday. So specific. So that we are using the before the book because the reference is given here as the book which was given by your dad for your birthday. So we have used the before that. Now, with things that are unique, there is only one. So we can't find the other one in the universe. So such things when you are referring to, like we use the sun, the president of US, like one time, at one moment, only one person would act as the president of US. The CEO of Apple, only one person. Like, no other person is called as, when one is in that position, no other one is called as CEO of that particular company. So like that, when the things, there is only one. So we use the before those things. With ordinals and superlatives. So like the first, the second, the third, these are called as ordinal numbers. And before these numbers, we use the. And also before superlatives, like the biggest, the best, the fastest, the ugliest. So such superlative adjectives also, before them we use the. Now with some proper nouns, like the names of the rivers, the names of the mountain ranges, the names of oceans, the names of group of islands or countries, okay, with plurals. Like if they have the plural form, then we use the before that, like rivers like the Nile, the Himalayas, the Alps, the Pacific Ocean, the have islands, the Netherlands, and these are few examples of proper nouns which we have used the definite article before that. Now, when not to use the article, this is the main thing which we have to focus on, because all those rules like when to use a or an and when to use the, of course, we are very familiar with, but we have to focus on these exceptions so that we try to avoid the errors which we make in the uses of articles. Like we use zero article, that means we don't use any article when we are talking about things in general. I love watching whales. So here we are not referring to specific whale, but in general we are referring to the things like all whales everywhere, not just one specific whale. So in general we are referring to, and so we have not used any article. I love Italy. This is like a general statement. So there's no need of using I love the Italy or I love a Italy. Of course, it doesn't sound sensible. Countries. He's from Germany. When you are referring to the countries also, like in general, if you are referring, he's from Germany. Have you visited Algeria? Like before the country names also. And languages. When you are referring to languages also, there is no need of using any article. And meals. Of course, when it is a special meal, then of course we'll be using the. And when you are referring to meals in general, like there is no need of using any articles before, as like the breakfast or the lunch or the dinner. When you are specifying that, then we try to use an article before that, that the dinner I had yesterday was delicious. Like the dinner I had yesterday, because which dinner are you referring to is like which I had the previous day. So that kind of specific reference, of course, is an exception. Again, you can use make use of the article. People's names and titles, we never use article. The Mr. Suresh, the Mr. Doctor, or the Doctor so and so, like that. Before titles we never use, before names and titles we never use articles. And with possessives also, my coffee, her dog, in this, like my the coffee, my a coffee, we can't say that. So with possessives also we can't use any article. So with uncountable nouns, unless they are referring to a specific example, like we can't use any article before that. I love adding milk is an uncountable. Milk is an uncountable noun. I love adding milk to my coffee. Like, so here there is nothing like we add an article before these things. Like specific mountains, lakes, and islands, like before the names are, unless they are group of mountain ranges, of course we use it. But before lakes we don't use any article. But before, when you are referring to rivers, we use again an article. And there's a group of islands, then we use article. And if you are referring to single island, then there is no need of using any article before that. Most of the cities, towns, streets, and airports, we never use article before that. We can't say, the Kiev, the New York, the main street, like that. There's no need of using any article before that. And let us review whatever that we have discussed in this video. Like, and whatever we have come across, like regarding the uses of the articles, or like the rules of the articles, especially, like they're also called as determiners, a, an, and the, or determiners, which are used before nouns, and they function to specify if the noun is general or specific in its references. So when you look at article before a noun, then you come to know whether that referred noun is a general noun or a specific one. Like the author is referring it in general or in specific. Now, a and an are used with singular countable nouns when they're referred in general, and the is used with both singular and plural countable nouns, and also with uncountable nouns when they are specific. This is all about, like, this is a small topic. Of course, usually we'll be doing, like, one thing which we have to remember about this article is, if it is a general reference, there is no need of using any article. If it is a singular countable noun, and if it is mentioned for the first time, then we use a or an. If it is a plural countable noun or uncountable noun, when there is a specific reference of that, then we use the before that. So if we remember these two things, then of course I think we can avoid whatever the errors or mistakes what we do in using these articles. And thank you very much.